Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts. With that being said, let's get it. Okay, so we got the FOMC meeting tomorrow, and we also have some big tech earnings tomorrow. I'm expecting big tech to do really well. As for the FOMC, we'll have to wait and see if they come out and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to print money, guys." I still kind of suspect they might, but I guess we're going to find out, right? The markets expect that likely nothing's going to happen. The Fed's going to pause rates again, which is extremely annoying. It'd be nice if they just cut. That'd be lovely. So we'll have to find out. But the market has recovered somewhat since that crazy flash crash. Bitcoin's back above 102,000 or 100,000 in general. So it's pretty much in line with what I expected. Okay, so I go over the trust real quick. I want to point out to you guys that the closer to the oversold signal we are on LTCN, the better the time to buy. Again, not financial advice. You guys can do what you want to with your own money. I mean, the best time to buy really would have been kind of back in here right around the bottom of the bear market, but we all know that that time has long since passed. So, excuse me. I'd say the premium buy area as of right now, so long as we can hold, is right around that $10 area on LTCN, with targets still going between 27 to 54. So potentially about a 5.5x on this. BCHG, so inverse head and shoulders pattern. I don't like the fact that this is kind of creating lower lows as a result. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but it's currently in the buy zone, which is at 375 to about 420. I'd be looking for targets between 1250 to going up to 24 here for about 560% gain. HZEN, so nice little bounce off support. That's not really shocking. That typically happens. I'd be kind of surprised if it didn't. So 340 to 420 here for the buy area, and targets I'd be looking for about 8 to 1050 on this one. Nice little relatively small swing move. Well, not small, but it looks small, but it's actually not, for roughly about 200% gain. Let's see here. Next one, ETCG. So roughly about 940 on this one, going up to 13 for a potential buy area. It's kind of stuck in between those two lines there. I'd be looking for the targets up here at 1850 to 20. I think that's easily possible. In terms of going to all-time highs, I mean, the reality is we just simply need to see the Fed cut and start printing money and adding assets to their balance sheet, which I think they're getting ready to do. So 112% gain. So ETH, we have a variety of different targets. Here we have a cup and handle, a smaller cup and handle, a channel pattern, and then a potential bull flag. So you have 34, 52, 72, and roughly about 43 for the targets here. The buy area is this green box, so 23, well, I'd say about 23.50 to 28.50. Obviously, the price of this could go much higher than 74. I don't think that's the limit there, so 213% gain. Okay, GBAT, it's in the buy zone. Again, every time we got down here, we did bounce, so I'm expecting something similar to happen, 450 to 5. I'd be looking at the all-time high for a target, so 32. For a nice clean 8x right off the bottom there, 625% gain. FILG, so we got a wick right off these candle lows here. Clearly somebody was wanting to buy this, and I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of volume. I mean, 13,000 shares is not a lot, but when it's a relatively low float, excuse me, if it's a relatively low float, which again, I can't verify that it is, but assuming it's a low float, it doesn't really require a lot of volume to actually move the price. So that's the good thing about low float stocks. Okay, so 33 to 44 here for the buy area. Target would be the all-time highs at 400, 1,180%. And if you guys don't know what the float is, basically the float is the amount. It's a term used in when understanding the potential valuation of a stock. So if it's a high float stock, that means there's a lot of volume, there's a lot of shares on the market, something like AMC. would require a great deal more trading volume to actually move the price. Whereas if you have a low float stock, it would require far less trading and far less buying of shares to actually rip the price to the moon. So, and a low float stock or a lower available public share count usually means that the stock will likely become more valuable, especially if they're doing something like share buybacks. Okay, so GLIV, I'd be looking right around this $10 area to maybe pick some up, right around these lows. It did bounce off there previously, so I'm kind of expecting something similar. Because this inverse head and shoulders did not play out perfectly, I would say that's negated at this point. So what we would have wanted to see was theoretically something like this. And we did not see that. Instead, we keep trudging down. So yeah, I would say that pattern's basically not relevant anymore. The target I'd be looking at for this one is all the way up at 80, so about an 8x move on this for about 720% gain. Okay, G-Link. I mean, you could maybe say it might go down here further, down to 38 to 45. Just keep that level in mind. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. The current buy area is 65 to 85, and then the target all the way up here at 220. Do keep in mind that the price action is currently below the EMAs. That's usually a bearish sign, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So about a 260% gain on this one. GSOL, so the price is also below the EMAs here, but again, it's going, sideways below the EMAs, which in this case would actually be a bearish sign. You would usually see something like this. But I don't think that's going to happen, again, because in my opinion, we're not even close to the end of the bull cycle. When you bring back the time into the cycle, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so buy zone here is still between 16 to about 22. Targets I'd be looking for anything from about 80 going up to 115 on this one. 625% gain. GXLM, so we're kind of holding in between these this structure and these resistance zone up here. So 36 to I'd say maybe somewhere between 36 to about, yeah, probably still 36 to 40 on this one. I don't think that's really changed too much. So 69 to 96 for the targets for about 155% gain. Excuse me. Okay, so mana. This one is interesting to say the least. So it appears maybe we want to pull down below this white line. Again, we'll have to wait and see how the Fed moves the markets tomorrow. It's possible we might pop back up immediately. In that case, the buy zone would still be between 10 to 20. If you think it's going to go lower, maybe look at roughly about 7.25 on this one, and the target would be the highs at 70 for about 875% gain. So you'd be looking anywhere from 3.5 to about a 10x on this if you manage to time it perfectly. Zcash, Jesus, excuse me. So the current buy area, I would say, is anywhere between 430 to about 5, basically in the green box until we get it back above the EMAs, and then target all the way up here at 8 to about 1050, which I would say any of this is definitely possible. So 135% gain. All right, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.